Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Amy. Before I give you the sneak peek into the day of my life of an investment banker, I do want to have two disclaimers out there. Number one is that this is actually going to be 2 days because I wanted to give you a taste of how our day-to-day actually changes based on the work we're doing. The second disclaimer is that I actually was too busy these 2 days, so I didn't really get to film that much of my day or me working during the day, but I'm going to do a voiceover and I want to just explain what I've been doing as an investment banker. So hope you enjoy. So in summary, for day one is just a bunch of meetings, eating meal prep from the day before for lunch, and then also exercising at night. So essentially, just to give some context for day one is that we are currently helping a company launch their follow-on offering, which is essentially just the company trying to raise more money after they've gone public. So when companies IPO, they go to the stock market, they already finished their first round of raising by being a public company, and now they need more cash for whatever reasons, so they're gonna go out and then conduct a follow-on offering. And you can have multiple follow-on offerings after you become public as well. So today, or day one, is that we are closing the transaction soon and we're pricing on that day, which means that we eventually on that day are deciding how much is that share that we are issuing to investors, how much is one share going to cost, and how many shares are we eventually going to be raised based on that number. So there are a lot of intricacies that go into this just because the company is a public company, and today was full of meetings that include investor presentations where the company is hosting one-on-one Q&A sessions with different investors. These investors probably already have a working relationship with the company. For example, they've invested in previous times, or these investors probably already know this company from like some other reason, but these presentations are usually just for a quick Q&A session between the investors and company, so just to get the investor interested in doing this. And these presentations don't even need to include eventually all the investors that are interested in the company, because they might even reach out separately to their previous investor and go like, hey, we're doing this again, and they don't even need to conduct a presentation or a new meeting just for the investors to say, yes, I will invest in you. So we've had a bunch of these meetings for a few days now. And then during this day, on day one, we're actually having our last few investor presentation meetings. Another type of meeting that we are hosting during this day is update calls. So just calls that we update the company periodically about who or like which investor wants how many shares, or this investor, they really want these many shares, but they actually want this many shares. So a lot of different inputs we're getting from investors, they're we then go and tell the company about these things. And I think another thing that I think is just helpful for you to know what my role is. My role essentially was just taking notes throughout these meetings. I basically didn't say anything. I was just listening in, and during investment presentations, I'll be jotting like what questions investors are asking. During update calls, I'm just be taking down some notes in case they're ever needed. So very basic things, but I get to learn a lot just from being on this deal, which is very exciting and I'm very grateful for. So after these calls, I also got another random task around 5-ish p.m. about pulling data from a bunch of platforms that I actually mentioned in like a previous video that I'm linking either here or here, so go check that out. So I just ended up pulling data, and then I took a break, got dinner, and then I sent it out around 8 to 9 p.m. So I think that's another reason why being a banker can be bad and good, is that every day is unpredictable. Although you can somehow, like, judging from what deals you're on, you can somewhat predict what your week will look like. But occasionally you might just get some random tasks by other senior bankers, and you just want to finish them as soon as possible. And then you might be working late because of that, or you might not. All depends. So then I guess I concluded my day around 8 or 9-ish p.m. But it wasn't a tough task, so that was good. So moving on to day 2, I would say that this day is what I would term more of a random task day. So essentially it's just I wake up to a bunch of emails, and then I see that I'm able to help with my other coworker on a pitch deck that we'll be having later during the week. So essentially what I was tasked with was creating things called one-pagers. So essentially within the pitch deck, we kind of want to show maybe examples to a potential client, like what we've done or what companies we think that they might be interested in inquiring or selling to. And what this one-pager is, it's just going to be one page in the PowerPoint where it's just going to be a bunch of company information on whichever company we choose to do. So I was tasked with doing like a few of these, and what you'd essentially do is, for example, just on this one slide, we already have a template going on, which is very helpful. You put in like the logo, like the board of directors, key management type of information on there. You take a lot of info from the website, from other platforms that we use that I've mentioned before. We've also used different graphics to make it look aesthetically pleasing, which is a very big deal, I've learned, which I like and dislike at the same time. So in the end, when you see the page, you just want to learn what you need to know from this company. So I think it's actually a very good exercise in seeing how you can summarize and condense information about one big company into a slide. So this, like a few companies that I was working on that day, was healthcare companies. So I actually learned some random facts in healthcare or in the disease or drugs that this company is trying to use or develop. And so that was really interesting. I'm really happy that I get to learn a lot of these random companies just for the sake of expanding my knowledge base, and just, I don't know, I think it's just interesting to learn. So today was an interesting day for making these templates. The other point is just that each company is different, so you even have to think out of the box, think how you're gonna move around different things. So you can see a lot of this as PowerPoint exercise and trying to make it look pretty. So it's just another thing. And it's great because you can also work with your coworkers on this, and then you get their feedback and you change more things around it. So another bonding exercise as well. In the meantime, actually, in waiting for my coworker to respond to the deck and give me comments on it, I was also working to consolidate like another deck into from different decks. And this is just a request by some senior bankers that I was just like helping out with. So a lot of these things are just, if you look at it, they're like pretty random, pretty like, oh, you can always just learn on the job to do it, but it's just actually essential to the part of the company and to actually helping making this deal happen or getting the client. So although sometimes it might seem that you're doing very like anyone can do this type of work, it's actually still cool to learn that like this work is essential. So yeah, all in a day's work. Sorry about not being able to actually film during the day of working, but I hope you enjoyed that brief update or sneak peek into like how this job works, and hope you enjoyed this video and got to learn something at least. Yeah, so let me know in the comments if you would like to see more of these type of videos, and see you in the next one. Bye. Thanks for watching.